Earlier this morning, we learned the Browns are going with Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback for the upcoming season as he edges out Shedeur Sanders in the quarterback competition. Zach, by starting Deshaun Watson, is that a bit of a telltale sign from the organization that they may be secretly tanking the 2026 season with all eyes focused on the 2027 draft?
I don't think so. And I think secret's a hard word there. I think there's an intent to win. I think there's an intent to see what they have. And I don't think that tanking is plan A. However, there are subtle ways you can go about it. And I think there is a realistic feeling about this team. Now, none of that matches playing Deshaun Watson. He's washed. He's done. He doesn't have one single skill that challenges NFL defenses anymore. Right? He's 31 years old in a couple of weeks. He's only under contract for one more year. If he has a football future, and he almost certainly doesn't, it's not here. So why wouldn't you play the 24-year-old? I don't know. This team is probably going to win between 2 and 6 games. I don't expect Deshaun Watson to last long or to play well. We will see. I think tanking in that discussion, guys, doesn't probably come into play until we get into November and see the lay of the land with the roster, the standings, and everything else.
Yeah, I don't think it's tanking. I think it's the opposite. I think Todd Monken is picking the quarterback he thinks gives them the best chance to win right now.
That's his job, yeah.
And as startling as that may be, that's why, I said I do think it was a fair competition, also because of how long it went on. Like Todd had said earlier, what, OTAs? He wanted to name a starter
early in camp. Yeah, early in camp.
And we're well past that, obviously. To do it on August 24th, it took him quite a while to get here. So I do think he picked the quarterback that in his mind gives him the best chance to win. The problem is, I see it, and I don't think there is a great option that is going to lead them to a ton of wins, no matter who he chooses. So are they outright tanking? No. They have a lot of young talent on this team. Have they set themselves up to where they're going to lose a lot of games this year because of how the quarterback room is structured? Yeah, I believe that.
They tanked when they didn't go out and get someone else.
If there was other veterans that they could have pursued, and they had no interest in that.
Yeah, they passed.
So yeah, I don't think that naming Deshaun is a sign that they're tanking. I think just the quarterback room in general is a sign that they're not taking winning very seriously this year.
G?
No, I don't think they're tanking. I think sometimes you just make the wrong decision. Your decisions that you make in life have consequences. So if that is what they believe gives them the best opportunity to win, then I said it earlier, they're gonna have to take what comes with that.
He owns that.
You got to own that. If that's your choice now, before you wasn't tied to it.
Yeah.
It was somebody else's decision. But now you came in, that was your choice you're gonna make. That's your decision. Now you got to stand by when people ask, what are you seeing and why would you put him on the football field? That's part of the game too.
Yeah, answering it. That leads us perfectly to something you said as we were coming out of commercial break that I think really hits the nail on the head. If you could repeat that for our audience.
This really wasn't Todd's before today.
His
right?
problem.
Right. This was Andrew's problem. This was Jimmy's problem. Todd came in and they didn't make an addition to the quarterback room other than a 6th-round rookie who really hasn't had a rookie training camp because they're doing this. But now Todd comes out there and says this at this time, in this light, and it's like he's got to be right. He's got to be really right, or all of a sudden it's on him. What are you doing? So that's another layer of this that's maddening, that's hard to explain. Obviously Todd needs to be unburdened by the past or you don't take this job.
Sure.
Right? But the past is the reality. This is screaming. This is 2 years ago that this was over for this guy. And the team has done a pretty good job of moving on, cleaning up its own mess, but pretty good job of moving on. And here we're bringing this back under these circumstances and this toxicity. It makes no sense at all.
I don't understand what the upside is. If Deshaun Watson comes out and he gets 9-10 wins and he looks like the greatest quarterback in the world, he just signaled to you he ain't signing back here. If he got another shot in any other universe, he will say thanks but no thanks, and he's going to leave you hanging with the bag. And then when he leaves you hanging with the bag, you got too many wins to go get anybody, and you still don't know if Shedeur Sanders can play football. If you play Shedeur Sanders and you give him a runway and opportunity and it turns out that he isn't good, then nobody has the right to say, well, you didn't give him a shot. You can say, no, we gave him a runway. We evaluated him. It wasn't good enough. We're going to get another quarterback and we got some picks. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. You don't attach yourself to something that with a no-win situation, because now the same way you guys are doubling down on Deshaun Watson, I'm going to tell you right now, these folks is going to double down on whatever behavior they was pulling up before. If you thought the boos was loud, they are going to double down extremely. Think about that. Even if you win, think about if you win the game, right? And you winning, and you're up 21-3, and they still boo every single drive. What? You don't understand the psychological mess that is, especially if they start cheering for the backup. And trust me, if that happens, you're putting everybody in a situation where it's like, then I have to think, is the coach really signing up for this?
But if they're up 21-3, they won't be booing anymore. They won't be.
They'll be cheering.
I mean, they might not be cheering as
They won't be cheering him, but they'll be cheering the team.
And the other thing, too, that Monken now takes some of the boo direction. Now that's on him, too.
Sure.
I mean, if Deshaun Watson is trotted out there in a preseason game, if the game, they're not booing Todd Monken, he's got to take a look at him. But if he brings him out there for the week 1, their home opener, those boos are going to be for both of those guys.
Yeah.
Todd Monken for choosing that nightmare and that mess.
When Todd was the first-time head coach at Southern Miss, I believe in 2013, right? What are there, 5,000 people there? They didn't win a game in their first 11, but people supported him. They're behind him. This is a long-term project. We're glad Shedeur took this on. In his first home game as an NFL head coach, he's going to have his quarterback get booed. And this has been obvious for months. I remember the day before the draft, sitting next to Daniel Jeremiah in Pittsburgh, having this discussion about, A, they need to trade Myles Garrett, and B, they're going down a path where the head coach might get booed in his first game.
And here it is. If he survives the road game. And I don't know that he can. Let's put an over-under on how many quarters you think he will start for the Browns to start the season.
Quarters? Yeah, I think you put it at 12.5.
So you give him.
Or no, excuse me, 10.5.
I take the over.
So somewhere in the third game.
I take the over.
But
not by much. I would say like 18.
Wow.
Jay, it's interesting you bring that up because, and Steve, you want to take this full, Ari Meroff, who reports on the NFL, said, part of the thought process behind naming Deshaun Watson the Browns starter is that they open the season with 2 road games before returning home in week 3. That would give Watson 2 games to prove himself away from the fan base. If he struggles, Shedeur Sanders could take over in front of the home crowd after the boos Watson received Saturday.
Think about having to apply that kind of thinking.
No, I know, but that's but you know what? In that that's their history.
And this,
if we can do this, we can do this.
And this has been my whole deal, right? People are screaming at me. People are screaming at Garrett. People are worried about this and that and the salary and all of this. The Browns have done this. This is the most important position in sports. They have failed miserably with Deshaun Watson, and they have not sufficiently replaced him. So they're back to doing this dance again.
It's just I study politics, and they always tell you, strategists tell you, do not spend and burn your political capital. When you build up political capital with your base, you've built it up. You've gotten to a point where you say, look, he was 0-11 at Ole Miss. It's a new coach, new young roster. All you got to do is go out there and be relatively fun-loving and watch young guys play, especially given the fact that Alex Wright is gone for the year. And this defense looks like they ain't keeping you in nobody's games. Let's keep that real. So now, are you expecting to play Deshaun Watson and you got to score 28, 30 points a game to win? It's going to be a double whammy. And you're using your political capital up in a way where it's self-inflicted. You didn't have to make the decision like that.
He hasn't been here long enough to build any capital. What he's done is he's torched his honeymoon. Yeah. A new head coach always gets a grace period.
Yeah,
sure.
Not now. It's gone with this decision. And I'm not so sure that it shouldn't be. If I'm a fan, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt because the first big decision he made, he fumbled.
So he is saying that Shedeur's not good enough, right? But the Browns have 2 practices this week in a preseason. They have a full week next week, and then it's game week. So he's taking all this time away from Shedeur to get better.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is maddening when you just dissect this decision and you start looking at how it impacts everything else. So you mean to tell me that if the schedule makers put the Browns at home the first 2 weeks, that our starter would be Shedeur Sanders? That might be, but it's factual. I believe they did weigh that in. Hey, look, at least we can start him on the road where he's not going to get booed by his own fans and give him some runway. That's why I think he's got 8 quarters. Guys, I know all the attention goes on the quarterback. Our team has been outscored 65-17 in 2 preseason games. And you can say it's the preseason all you want. It's a test of your depth, and we have failed miserably. Our defense can't stop us. And so you start looking at this saying, you're going to put that guy out there as the starting quarterback with the defense that you've rolled out there. God help you.
You don't have
because they're going to need divine intervention to get out of this.
You don't have to stop Miles Garrett to keep you in games.